welcome back everyone, glad you can join us. Right, what I'm going to do today, I'm going to be going around the bike and changing some things, just little bits that I'm not happy about, and I want to try and modify them. So I'll go across and take a closer look at some of the different parts. Right, so the first thing was this on the number plate. It's screwed through here, and at the bottom it had a flat piece of plate coming out as a bracket welded onto it to bolt through this bolt here. The trouble was that it wasn't quite long enough to reach down here, so it was pulling down on these bolts here. So all I've done is made another plate but made it longer, so I've bent it and I'm going to weld it along here now. So that was the first thing. It just didn't look right. Right, next thing I wasn't happy about is this spring here. It doesn't look nice. Why not put it underneath? So what I've done is I've made another one of these. I'm going to weld that underneath, and I've made a little lug there, and I'm going to weld that on the other side of there and put the spring on the back and see if that operates just as well, and it should look a lot better without that spring on shore. Now you might ask, well, why don't I cut that off and weld that one on the back? Well, I don't want to cut them off, and the same with this, until I know that it's working all right. So I'll weld them on the back, make sure it works, and then I'll clean them up. Now the next thing, now this is something I made. It's a temporary measure. It goes onto one of the bolts. I think it goes down there, but it just goes like that, and the oil reservoir for the back brake goes onto there. But again, doesn't look very nice. So what I'm going to do is weld this on. I've made just a little bracket, needs tidying up a little bit, but that the reservoir can go into there, and I'm going to weld that on. It's actually on the bottom one, but I'm going to weld that on so the lug's there and it's not an extra little bracket. Right, next thing I'm not happy about is this bracket here. So it runs along there and along here, just like a T-piece. Now it would probably have been okay if the battery box was bolted down onto that and you've got the battery sitting on top, but it doesn't look too neat and tidy. So what I've done, been out with the cardboard, and well, I'm not making Batman stickers or anything. It's a template, and that fits in there, and it covers those two bars. And so from there I've cut out one of the style, and I've marked two holes in it because that's where the regulator is going to go. The regulator is actually going to sit underneath, so it's doing an extra job that it's covering that, rather than have that just sitting underneath those two bars. So I'll put it in there. It gives it just a little bit more shape and style than just flat bars, that's all. Right, the next part at the back here is these openings here, one at either side. Now they may be meant for that to allow a little bit of flex here, but I don't like the look of them like that. So what I'm going to do is just put an extra piece of plate in, just to take that round here, so it looks like a half circle, so it looks a little bit better. And the same on that side. Right, so I'm going to have a look at these here. Try and put a curve in the top there. So cut a piece of cardboard out, put it at about the same level as this plate here. Mark it down. And I want to try and get some kind of radius in there. Now I think the radius should be down to at least here. Otherwise you're going to see this other pipe here that goes round. So it'll still cover that. So I need something that diameter to try and draw around. So I'll go and see if I can find a little container lid or something we can draw around, or a socket. Right, found a socket, just the right size. Draw around that. Right, so I'll get rid of this and get rid of that. I'll just get the scissors and cut that out. Right, so I've cut that out and fits in there just nicely. So it will give us a nice semicircular shape. On the bottom here, the mudguard's in a few millimetres, but I'll be able to blend that in, and there's a little corner here where I'll have to try and fill with weld to try and blend it in a lot better. Anyway, we'll go and have a look at the other side, but the other side's not as easy as this. Just remember how this is sticking out further than the mudguard. So this side's not so easy. I've stuck my template from the other side in place, but if you notice, this plate is actually further back than the mudguard. The mudguard's sticking out where it was the other way around on the other side. So this plate is not long enough on this side. You can see there's about a 10mm gap there. So what I've done, I've drawn out on this other piece of cardboard. That's the template which I've got there. Just remove that and put that in its place. So we'll need to make that fit in there. So what I'll do is I'll cut this down a little bit so it fits in there, and we'll see what it looks like. Right, so I've cut another template out which fits in there. Just take it around, have a quick look at what it looks like. Right, so that's the one which needs a lot more work, because I'm going to have to weld it all the way down there, along the top, around here. And on this side, see, there's the template, nice rounded edge to the slot. Right, I found some plate which is exactly the same thickness as what's on the bike. It's got a little bit of surface rust where it's been sitting in the shed, but I wire brush it off this section, it's okay. It's not pitted. So I've put a bit of masking tape on. I've got the two pieces there. So I'll just draw around these. And the idea is that if I put one there and I put the other one here, I can then use this hole saw to drill one hole in, and then I'll cut the two of them out of that. So I need to find the centre there. Let's see. Right, so I've got the centre there, just got the centre punch. Right, now we'll go on the driller machine and drill it with this. They're both now finished. I've just wedged them in place for now. So what I'll do, once I've finished on the bandsaw, I put them on the grinder just to trim the edges a little bit, and then I dress them right round with a file. So I think that's all of the brackets there ready. can't think of anything else. I'll probably think of something else later which needs welding as well. So there's half a dozen things there I need to tack in place, ready for the final disassembly and then welding everything properly. So that's the next stage. Put some tacks onto those and get them in place, ready for the final weld. Well, I think I'll call it a night. Tomorrow I may do the welding, but I won't bother showing putting all the little tack welds on. So hopefully by the time I see you again, I'll have them all tacked in place, and we'll get on with the next stage. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again next time. But in the meantime, stay safe.